Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay. We're at game number 162, so had I just been playing a one-team replay, I'd be finished now after this game. But we got a long way to go. We're just starting May 3rd. So it's 1,000 some odd games to be played. This one we're going to be in Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. And we are looking at the White Sox against the Orioles. In the previous game, in this series, we got a surprise pitching performance from Mike Flanagan. He pitched a complete game victory for his first win of the season as the Orioles knocked out the White Sox 5-2. Ray Searage pitched one inning relief for Chicago. Nobody pitched for Baltimore, so all the bullpen arms. And Searage, that one inning, he faced three batters. That was it. So, because he got a double play. So bullpen arms are completely fresh for both teams. So there's no worry about overusing a reliever or whatnot because they're all in good shape. White Sox enter the game 11-9. Baltimore enters 9-14. Pitching matchup. Forgot to write in Mr. Davis's numbers. Joel Davis is 0-2. He's got a high ERA of about over 9. And then Mike Boddicker is 2-1 in this replay to date. And his ERA is 5.55. So neither one of them are all that great, but Boddicker's a little bit better off. So the pitching matchup on paper looks like it favors Baltimore, but that's why you don't play the game on paper. You play it with dice. So hello, Dr. Gudeman. Good to see you. Mr. Dan, Larry, good to see all of you this morning. Drinking my supper. I just finished my second cup of coffee, so I'm good to go. Ballpark effects for Memorial Stadium. Singles are 1-3 for lefties and righties. Home runs are 1-11. This is the very first game of May 3rd. The next game after this, we will be north of the border in Toronto. It'll be Texas against Toronto. Ed Correa against Jim Clancy. That will be the next game, game 163. Right now, we're worried about game 162 because that's where we're sitting. All right, so Daryl Boston, otherwise known as Daryl, please come to Boston if you're a Chris Berman fan. He's hitting .310, 4 homers, 11 runs driven in. The complete numbers on Boddicker, he is 2-1, 5.55 earned run average, 36 innings pitched, 43 hits, 9 walks, and 32 strikeouts. So the walk and strikeout ratio is really good. He has given up 7 long balls in 36 innings, which can be a little problematic. He gave up 29 homers in real world. And we're underway. That's a 3-5, and that is a ground ball to second. Easy play there for Wiggins, and there's one away. See, we got our Baltimore colored dice, or at least the best I could get for Baltimore colored dice. And it's a ground out to start the ball game. Easy play. And that'll bring up Gary Reedus, not to temptation. And Reedus on the replay is hitting .309, 2 homers and 9 driven in. It's a 6-7 against Boddicker. It's ground ball shortstop X. That's Cal. He's a 2 E20. 2-19, he'll get to it. E20. Let's get the numbers on E20 for shortstop. On an E20, he's got to avoid 4, 15, 16, and 17, which he does. So it's a good play for Cal. He makes the play, 2 down. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. You'll be happy to know, Chuck, that, well, maybe not so happy to know, I don't know, but Tabby was a little bit frustrated with us yesterday because yesterday was her day to get her initial fur trim, get that winter coat off because it's 80-something degrees around here, so she didn't like that at all. I know she feels better now, but at the time it wasn't a good experience for her, but she did okay. She did better than she usually does. She still didn't like it, but she knew what was coming and I guess dealt with it. All right, here's Greg Walker, 2 homers, 9 driven in, hitting a .164. And we get a 4-4 for Boddicker. It's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Rene Gonzalez. He's a 3 E20. 3-7. He should be okay with that, I would think. 3-7. Yep, G3 is good enough. He's an E20. So he's got to avoid 11, 14, and 15. Those are the numbers to avoid. And that is a 16, so he barely gets by with it. E20, a 15 would have been a two-base error, but a 16 is good. And so Mike Boddicker gets 3 ground outs to 3 separate infielders. And the White Sox go quietly in their half of the first. So we go to the bottom of the first here at Memorial Stadium. It is the White Sox nothing, and the Orioles will be coming to bat. And pitching for the White Sox will be a guy I don't know that much about, right-hander Joel Davis. Davis, as I said, is 0-2 in the replay. And his ERA is 9.88 in 14 innings pitched, 19 hits, 8 walks, 6 strikeouts. In real world, he was 1-5 with a 5.73. So, like I said, not the greatest pitcher in the world. Ken Gerhart will get the leadoff assignment. I didn't remove anything, Jeff. I haven't touched anything, so I see it now. Flanagan did die by suicide. He absolutely did. It was a shame. He was doing some announcing for the Orioles, and I don't know what happened. Something in his life obviously turned sour, but I thought he was, he was doing okay. But you never know about people. You see him on TV, but you don't know about their background. All right, so here's Ken Gerhart. He's hitting .230, 5 homers, 10 runs driven in. The Orioles really could not get a good leadoff hitter in '87. They tried Wiggins, but he just didn't hit. And now they're trying Gerhart. 3-4, and that's a ground ball to third. Tim Hewlett is right there, and there's one away. So 1 down, and that will send up Alan Wiggins. Wiggins definitely not hitting. He's hitting a .186, a homer and 6 driven in. That's a 3-11, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, 1-3. That's an 8, so he will line it to second base. So 2 down very quickly. And that will send up Cal. Ripken on the replay hitting only .225, 4 homers, 9 driven in. He only hit .252 on the season real world, so not that far off. 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance straight up on Joel Davis, but it's a 1-3. That's a 6. It'll be a triple for Cal, and Cal did have 3 triples, so I will allow it. I will not change it to a double. That is a triple for Cal, and for Cal, that is his second triple of the season. So a 2-out triple for Cal Ripken brings up Eddie Murray, and we'll get our first havoc roll of the game. We'll get our first base runner. Murray hitting .308, 4 homers, 11 driven in. Clutch situation, as someone in the chat once said. And in the clutch against right-handers, he loses a hit on 1-3, and that's the only place he's got a clutch. That's a 6-7, switch hitter batting from the left side. That's a ground ball, second base X. That'll be second baseman Hill. He's a 4-11, so not too good. This might sneak through for an RBI single. It probably will now with that 4 and 6, most likely. 4 and a 6, most likely is going to get through, and it does. SI1, that's good enough to score the runner from third. So Ripken will score on the RBI single from Eddie Murray. Now we'll check for an error on Hill. He's an E11, so he's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18. Which he does. There's no error on the play, but it will be an RBI single for Eddie Murray. And the Orioles take a 1-0 lead. And here comes Larry Sheets, the left fielder. Sheets, in limited duty, he's hitting a .184. Only had 38 at bats. No homers, 2 driven in. He did have 31 homers on the season. So he's going to start getting some regular playing time. I think that's going to improve his batting. 3-9, and that's a walk, so that will keep the inning going. Moving Murray to second base. So 2 on, 2 outs for Nelson Simmons in another clutch situation. He will lose a hit on the clutch on a 1-6, and I think that's his only clutch result that I can see. The 1-6, that's where he loses a hit. Nothing on the havoc. Simmons on the replay. .258. 1 homer, 6 driven in. 1-8, and that's a single, but it's only 1 star, so it's going to load the bases for Terry Kennedy. So the bases are loaded, but the 1 star prevents the run, and now Terry Kennedy, with the bases juiced, obviously another clutch situation. He loses a hit right here on 2-7, also loses one on 3-6, so he's definitely a little bit of anti-clutch here. Davis trying to minimize the damage to 1 run. 4-7, and that is a 1-2 single. Anything he lines out, that's a 2 right there. The devil die, even though it's black, it's not red. It still comes up bad sometimes, and that's a single 1 star. As it's going to sneak by the second baseman Hill, and that's an RBI single for Terry Kennedy. And the Orioles take a 2-0 lead. And now Tabby is crying, so let me go let her in. Coming in or not? Tabby, come here. Well, she was crying like she wanted to come in here. Now she wants to turn around and leave. So I don't know what she wants. Maybe she was just checking out what I was doing. I don't know. She's making a lot of noise. All right, going back out there. All right. Not sure what she was doing there, but I guess she just wanted to know where I was and know what I was doing. I don't know. All right, so Jim Washer and Dwyer will be batting with the bases loaded. He's a 407 hitter and 27 at bats, 2 homers and 3 driven in. Another clutch situation. Again, he loses a whole lot of hits on clutch. 1-9, 1-10, 2-6, and 3-12. So a lot of anti-clutch with Jim Dwyer. That's a 2-6, and that's an anti-clutch right there. It would have been a single, but he is anti-clutch. There's a little omega sign. He is anti-clutch, so that turns into a pop out to second base, and he will leave them loaded. But the Orioles do pick up 2, but they could have had a lot more if Jim Dwyer had not been anti-clutch. And at the end of 1, it is the Orioles 2 and the White Sox nothing. And they have given Mike Boddicker, a lead to work with. Hello, Mr. Robert. Didn't see you coming there. Tabby distracted me, making noises. Opened the door. She walked in about 2 feet and then turned right back around and cried to get out. So I was like, okay, you do what you want. She's still trying to get used to her new haircut because we had to basically shave her for the summer, to get ready for the summertime. We've had a couple days in the 80s here. So it's going to get cool this week, but in the 60s. But figure we might as well do it now. Help her with her coat and her fur balls and stuff like that. All right, so here's Ron Hassey. Hassey is the designated hitter in this game. He's hitting 175, a homer and 4 driven in. That's a 6-7 against Boddicker, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout of the game, and there you can see Mr. Gudeman. I went ahead and put the little 1 there, so I'm going to start using your thing there of notating how many strikeouts the pitcher has on each one, so I don't have to worry about adding them up at the end. Don't know why I didn't do that earlier, but hey, better late than never, right? All right, here's Fisk, the catcher, hitting 277, a homer and 6 driven in. It's a 5-10 against Boddicker. It's a ballpark single check, 1-3, and there's that double die again with a 1. It's come up with a 2, and it's come up with a 1 the last 2 rolls. I don't care what color I use. I get those low numbers for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't get it, but it just happens. So Fisk gets the base hit. First hit for the White Sox. Brings up Ivan Calderon. And Calderon is hitting 324, 5 homers, 14 driven in. It's a 1-7 for Calderon. That's damage done. 1-18 is a double. It's a 16. It's 2 stars, so Fisk cannot score. He will have to stop at third base. Of course, with his speed of 10, he probably wouldn't have scored anyway. But now all of a sudden, the White Sox have a threat. Second and third, only 1 out for Donnie Hill. They're going to bring the infield in. They don't want to give up a cheap run. If there was no outs, they play back. But 1 out, they're going to play in. Try to choke that run off. Hill on the replay. A $164, 2 homers, 6 driven in. 1-7, and that is and they get paid the price. We play the infield in, and what do we hit? We hit a plus. Go figure. That's a single, 2 stars. It'll score the runs and tie the game. So you play in, and sometimes it'll cost you. And it did right there for Cal Ripken Sr. Look at it again. 1-7 is that first base A plus, and in Super Advanced, the plus only comes into play when the infield's in, and the infield was in. So Donnie Hill, a 2-run single, has tied this ball game up at 2 apiece, and that'll bring up Tim Hewlett. Tim Hewlett. Yes, Ripken Sr. is the manager of the Orioles in '87. All right. Here's Timmy Hewlett, and Hewlett on the replay is hitting a $176, a homer and 4 driven in. And Hewlett against Boddicker. It's a 3-7, and that's a strikeout. Second strikeout for Boddicker. And there's 2 away for Ozzie Guillen. Guillen on the replay is hitting .250, a homer and 6 driven in. Nothing on the havoc. Oh, that one die did not go through, so let's redo everything. All 3. My house rule is all 3 have to go in the tray. All dice have to finish in the tray. 3-8 for Guillen is a ground ball to third, and Rene Gonzalez will go the short way to second for a fielder's choice, 5-4. But the White Sox tie the game at 2 apiece. That 2-run single against the drawn-in infield did them in. And we got a tie game. So bottom of the second we go. And Rene Gonzalez, the only one that did not bat in the first inning, will be coming to the plate now for the Orioles. Hello, Mr. Gardner. Let's see here. Gonzalez, don't walk away. Rene Gonzalez is hitting .357, just 14 at bats though, so limited duty. A homer, no homers and 1 driven in. It's a 5-5, and that's more trouble for Davis. 1-3 is a triple, 4-20 is a double. That'll be a leadoff double for Gonzalez, and the Orioles looking to reclaim this lead. Not wasting time. Here is Ken Gerhardt. He grounded to third his first time up. Nothing on the havoc. 2-4, and that is a 1-11 home run. That's a 14, so he will settle in air quotes with a triple. He did hit 2 triples on the year. This is his first one. Look at it again. 2-4, 1-11 home run, 12-20 is a triple. That's a 14. So Mr. Gerhardt will have himself an RBI triple. Scoring Gonzalez. Orioles reclaim the lead 3-2, and that'll bring up Alan Wiggins. White Sox are going to play the infield in again. Well, the Orioles did. Now the White Sox will try to choke the runoff against a weak-hitting Wiggins. 6-6, switch hitter batting left, and that's trouble. 1-5 is a triple. Anything else is a single. That's a 6. It'll be a single, RBI single for Alan Wiggins, and Mr. Davis may not be around too much longer. He is getting pummeled by the Orioles. Bullpen for the White Sox is well rested, so they could be looking for some long relief pitching. And Jim Wynn has a relief rating of 3, so he is loosening in the bullpen for the White Sox. He could give him some length if needed. So Wiggins is at first base. He's definitely a threat to run. Let's check his chance to get a lead. 4 through 6, 4, 5, or 6, or a 12 to get the lead. 4, 5, or 6, or a 12. And that's an 8, so he does not get the lead. So he will hold. And here's Ripken. 5-3, and that's a ground ball first base C, so that's going to advance the runner. We're going to say that that one went to Walker. He flips to Davis covering first, but Wiggins will take second base. So the runner advances on the ground out, 3-1. You're scoring at home, and you know you should be. Mr. Gardner, if you're still here, I know you are or have played season ticket a lot in the past. I'm trying to get back into that game, but I'm running into some issues with some of the notations on the cards and maybe some of the runner advancement. That seems to be the case in most games I play that are new. The thing that gets me is runner advancement. I mean, it was that way in Inside Pitch when I started that. It was that way on Fall Classic. It was that way on Payoff Pitch. It seems like everything, the one part of the game that makes it harder or makes the most problems is runner advancement. I don't know why that is. Just for me. I don't know about anybody else. Now here's Murray. Murray singled his first time up, got an RBI single. That's a 1-8 for Murray, and this is more trouble. 1 to 8's a double. That's a 7. It's a double, 2 stars, but Wiggins was already on second, so he will score. And this might be the beginning of the end right here for Joel Davis, as he is just not getting it done. And now it is 5-2. He's on the verge of fatigue. Hello, Bob. Good to see you. So Davis on the verge of fatigue. 5-2 ball game. Still only 1 out. And here's Simmons. He walked his first chance. 2-9, and that's a ground ball third base A. So with the play in front of him, that will hold Murray at second base. So 2 down, and now we're in a clutch situation for Terry Kennedy. Kennedy had a single with the bases loaded in his first trip. So he's looking to do the same here with the runner at second and bring home Murray. Murray runs at a 12. Not being held makes him a 13. 2 outs makes him a 15. So good chance to score on a hit. 4-6, and he's going to score anyway. It's a 2-star. 1 to 10's a double. That's another double. And wait a minute, something happened here. Did I miss somebody? What happened to Sheets? Did I miss Sheets? Did Sheets get? Did Sheets? Yeah, Sheets got. Something happened. I want to do a review here because I think Sheets got pulled or got stuck to the other card and did not come up the way it should have. So I'm going to have to correct this. Not sure how that happened, but it did. So we will do a correction. If I can find my little correction tape. I got stuff all over the place up here. I got season ticket stuff. I've got Strat stuff. I got History Maker stuff. So I got stuff all over the place. See if we can't fix this here. So what I'm going to do, rather than try to recreate everything, I'm just going to go back here on the previous at bat. Let me look at the game log and see what I've got here and see if that tells me where I've screwed up here. All right, Murray doubled. Ground out for Sheets. Okay. So I had Sheets grounding out, but I really had Nelson Simmons' card up there. So let me, good thing we have the undo button on the Strat-O-Matic computer. We can redo Sheets at bat. So Sheets is back up there. We're going to have a redo. If you're a golfer, it's a mulligan. Did I miss something? Did Murray not double? Did I have Sheets up there instead of Murray for the double? I didn't think I did that, but did I do that? Did I skip Murray? Is he the one I skipped? If I did, the double is good because Sheets is a lefty as well. So that would have been the same, no matter if it was Murray or Sheets. So I think it's going to work out anyway because Murray switch hitter batting left would have gotten the same. That 4-6 result would have been the same. So fortunately, I think it works out here without being too much trouble. It's not going to help Mr. Davis because we're taking an out away from him that he desperately needs. But but what are you going to do? All right, so Larry Sheets now will get an official at bat. There is 1 out. Murray at second. 3 runs are already in. Let's get back to a base here with the havoc roll. We get a 1-6 for Sheets, and that's a 1-2 home run. And look at that. The double die comes up again with either a 1 or a 2, and Larry Sheets goes deep. Could it get any worse for Mr. Davis? He's done, that's for sure. Larry Sheets, his first home run of the season, RBIs 3 and 4 for Larry Sheets. And that's going to be all for Mr. Davis. He is now fatigued, and on top of that, on top of him being fatigued, the manager, Jim Fregosi, has seen enough. So that's going to do it for Joel Davis. He is done. He's going to go 1 1/3 innings, and that's going to be it. He is now officially fatigued by the Strat computer, and he's ineffective anyway. So we're going to bring in Jimmy Wynn, take his place. We'll do the totals on Davis once the inning is over. Actually, we can do them now because the home run clears everybody, so there's nothing pending. So I can go and grab all his numbers now because we can close the book on him, thank goodness. So Joel Davis is going to go an inning and a third, give up 9 hits, 7 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. About as bad of an outing as you can get. You think his ERA was bad before? It's now going to be really bad. All right, so Jimmy Wynn will be coming on to pitch for the White Sox. He's got mop-up duty. So we'll see how long he can go and how many innings he can give them. He is rested, so he's got a lot of juice apparently. He's not doing so well either. He's 1-0 with no saves and an ERA of 9. 11 innings pitched, 11 hits, 11 runs, 12 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So his walk-to-strikeout ratio is horrible. All right, here is Nelson Simmons. We get a 6-5, and that is an in-home run chance, 1-16, and the double die comes up with a 2 again. And Nelson Simmons has normal power against righty. He goes deep. Back-to-back jacks. That is home run number 2, RBI number 7 for Nelson Simmons. And Jimmy Wynn gets greeted. That is now 6 runs in the inning. It's 8-2. 2-4, and that's a fly to center. Finally, out number 2 is recorded, but the 9th man to come up, Jim Dwyer. And I hope he makes an out because I don't like when I have to bat around. It screws my whole innings up. 3-7, and of course he gets on base with a walk. So now I'm going to have to adjust all these innings. 1 over on the bat around. Thank goodness the Orioles are the home team. They only have to bat 8 times. All right, so here's Rene Gonzalez. He started all this mess with a leadoff double. He's going to be up with Dwyer at first base and 2 away. Three, 4, and that's a ground ball to short. Infield is not in, so it's just going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. And the inning is mercifully over, but not before the Orioles put up a 6-pack here in the second. Talking about everybody drinking coffee. This morning, the Orioles decided to go with a 6-pack instead. And they lead it 8-2 after 2. Mike Boddicker should be able to breeze from here, you would think. Just throw the ball across the plate and let your fielders do the work. An 8-2 lead, you can't go around walking people, that's for sure. So far, he has not walked anybody. Here's Boston. 1-8, and that's a 1-2 triple, but this time the double die back to normal. That's going to be a fly to right. Got rid of those 1s and 2s. So Boston flies to right. Unfortunately, not a close game, which so here is Gary Reedus. 6-6, and that's a 1-17 single, so that'll be a base hit for Reedus, but down 8-2. He's not looking to run. He will be held, but they're not going to look to run. If he got the lead, just out of curiosity, if he got the lead, it'd be a 1-17, but knowing their luck, he'd get a 20 on the steal attempt, and you start stealing down 8-2, you look really, really silly. So here's Greg Walker. Wait a minute. I didn't put the result in for Ritas, did I? I did not. I did on the computer. I gave him the single on the computer, didn't do it on the score sheet. I'm trying to do two things at one time. Maybe that's what I shouldn't be doing. Trying to multitask. Okay, so Greg Walker is your batter. Oh, I did put it at Gerhardt, didn't I? Thank you for noticing that. Let's white that out. Thank you for that. I thought I wrote down the single, I just didn't write in the right. I didn't put it in the proper spot. That was the problem. All right, here's Walker, 6-8, and that is a fly to right field, 2 down. Maybe I need more coffee. I don't know. Here's Ron Hassey. But I got some things to do later this morning, so this is my one chance to get the game in without life getting in the way with things that need to get done. So 5-11 for Hassey against Boddicker is a ballpark single, 1-3, but this time no go. It'll be a liner to second, and the inning is over. So Boddicker puts up a 0. They keep the 8-2 lead. And Jimmy Wynn will just go as long as he can go. Save that bullpen as much as possible. Ken Gerhardt will lead off the bottom of the third. He's 1 for 2 with a triple. That's a 2-5, and that's a ground ball to short. So Guillen will make, that's a terrible looking 6. Guillen will make the play. Still not a good looking 6, but I guess it's good enough. 6-3 on the put out. And here is Alan Wiggins, 1 for 2 with a single. That's a 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball second base X. That's Donnie Hill. He's a 4. That's not good. 4-18, though, he'll get to it. Now it's an E11. E11 and a 6, I'm pretty sure, is good. We'll verify it. E11, yep, 15, 17, and 18 are only errors, so that's a good play for Donnie Hill. 2 down. So maybe Jimmy Wynn can bring some stability to this bullpen or to this pitching staff for the White Sox. Here's Ripken. 1 for 3 with a triple, 3-5, and he's going to ground to short. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Wynn. Try to stop the avalanche from happening. And now we go to the top of the fourth. It'll still be 8-2. It's just a matter of whether the White Sox bats can wake up against Boddicker. And due up for the White Sox, it'll be Pudge, Carlton Fisk, the original Pudge. 3-12, and that's a Lomax, but nobody else is on base, so it's simply a line out to third. At least it's not an injury. So the old Lomax gets Carlton Fisk on that 3-12. Here's Calderon, who on 3-12, he's got a Lomax with an injury, so hopefully he doesn't find that. 5-9, and that is a split chance. One's a single, anything else he lines to short, so that will be a line out to short. 2 down for Donnie Hill. Donnie Hill, your batter. 1-8 for Hill, and he's going to ground it to second. And Wiggins puts it away, and that's going to do it for the Sox. So maybe both pitching staffs starting to stabilize after that 8-run explosion in the second inning by both teams. I prefer the pitching duels. I don't like all these high-scoring games, but when you get substandard pitching, that can make a difference. So Eddie Murray is your batter. Start the bottom of the fourth of an 8-2 game. Murray has singled and doubled. 6-7, and that's going to be a leadoff walk. Not what you really want to do. Don't want to start walking, guys. Here's Larry Sheets. He had that big 2-run homer his last time up. It's a 4-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-3, that's an 18, so he's going to pop it up to first. One away. And for anybody new, yeah, I know when you have a failed ballpark check, it's supposed to be a line out to second, but to get some more variety, when it's not a straight out single here, when it's an out here, and it does not affect any base runners, I keep that original. That's just a house rule, just to give me some variety on the putouts. But yes, technically by the rule, it should have been a line out to second, but I just do it the other way. All right, here is Nelson Simmons. He homered his last time up. He's singled and he's homered. 5-6, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. They were not holding Murray on, plus with the right-hander, the second base will be covering anyway, so there's no deduction to Guillen's 2E21. 2 and a 3, though. Boy, they can't catch a break. 2 and a 3 is a G3, and again, he's not responsible for holding the runner, so the G3 will stand. And his error rating is an E21, so he's got to avoid 615 and 17. It'll be a ground ball C, basically, is what it's going to turn into, and that's exactly what it is. 6-3 ground out, and going to second is Murray on the play. So 2 down. I hate to call it a clutch situation when it's an 8-2 game, but technically it is for Terry Kennedy. For 9, and that's going to be a fly to center. That's going to end the inning. So the inning is over. We go to the 5th. It is 8-2. Score still holds for the Orioles, seemingly in control with Mike Boddicker on the hill. Veteran Mike Boddicker on the hill. And that'll bring up Tim Hewlett to lead off. He struck out his first chance. Boddicker only 2 strikeouts through 4 innings, so it has not been a lot of strikeouts. 4-4, that's a fly center field X. That is center fielder Gerhardt. He's a 3 with an E10. 3 and an 11, he should get to that. It's the E10 that has to be concerning. 3 and 11 is an F2, so that's good. The E10, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, and 16, and 18. 3, 4, 14, 16, and 18. And he does. So it's good play for Gerhardt. Retires Hewlett. 1 away. And here is Ozzie Guillen. 6-5, and that's a fly to left. Hauled in by Sheets. 2 down. So Boddicker seems to be on cruise control. Here's Boston. He's 0 for 2. 6-3. Ground ball pitcher X. Boddicker is a 1 E13. So we know he's going to get to it with a 1. We're just checking the E13. E13 and a 9 probably will be okay. We'll find out. Yep, E13. The only errors are 11, 13, and 17. So Boddicker will make the play. And Boston is retired. Boddicker is actually retired 8 in a row, going back to the 3rd inning. So he's certainly settled in. Go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 8-2 in favor of the Orioles. Jimmy Wynn back out. He's going to go until his arm falls off, or until he starts getting clobbered, one or the other, whichever comes first. Here's Jim Dwyer. 0 for 1 with a walk. 4-7, and that's another walk. Second walk for Dwyer in this game. Second walk issued by, actually 3rd walk now issued by Wynn. He's walked Dwyer twice and walked Murray once. So here's Rene Gonzalez. So 1-7, and that's a single to center field. Dwyer doesn't run all that well, so it's going to be station to station, pretty much, especially with an 8-2 lead. No sense trying to stretch anything. So first 2 are on, and here comes Ken Gerhardt. Gerhardt has tripled. He's 1 for 3. 2-12 for Gerhardt, and that's another walk. Fourth walk issued by Jimmy Wynn. Is going to load the bases. And now the White Sox bullpen might start to loosen again as Jimmy Wynn's starting to lose it. So we'll look at the White Sox bullpen and see who they might have available. They do have a lefty, Joel McKeon. So left-hander Joel McKeon, he's a mop-up guy. He is but he's got some length, so he is in the bullpen for the White Sox loosening as Mr. Wynn running into issues. Bases loaded, nobody out. They're playing back. They got to get outs. One run's not going to make a difference. They need outs. 2-11, and that's a pop up to second base, so that'll help out quite a bit. Gets the out with no advancement. And I believe the Strat computer just told me that Joel Davis is tired, so we'll keep an eye on that. But they're going to try to get him through the inning. Here's Cal Ripken. Ripken 1 for 3 with a triple. That's a 6-6, and that's 1-2 triple, 3-20 is a single. Single 2 stars. That'll be a 2-run single for Cal Ripken. Dwyer scores. Gonzalez scores. Going to third is Gerhardt, and that's going to be it for Jimmy Wynn. His day is going to be done. They will go to the left-hander at this point. It is now 10-2 Orioles, and the White Sox, Jim Fregosi pulling out his hair, doesn't know what to do. He's going to bring in another schlub in Joel McKeon. So McKeon, actually I didn't even write in, forgot to write in Wynn's name here. Can't do the numbers on Wynn yet because he's responsible for the 2 guys on base. So we'll wait till the end of the inning for that. But right now, we will go to McKeon. And on the replay, McKeon is 0-0 with a 7.50 ERA, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. But if you're going to use a guy like McKeon, now is the time to do it. So runners at the corners with 1 out, infield looking to turn 2 on Eddie Murray. Murray will turn around and bat right-handed against the lefty McKeon. That's a 4-12 against the right-hander Murray. That's a ballpark blast. 1-11. That's a 5. Eddie Murray, the typical Baltimore Oriole 3-run home run. Eddie Murray just did it. His 5th home run of the season. RBIs 14, 15, and 16. And the Orioles now lead it 13-2. You're going to get games like this. If you play a full season, you're going to get games that you wish you could auto-sim the rest of it. So Eddie Murray greets Joel McKeon with a 3-run home run. Look at it again, 4-12. It is a ballpark blast on McKeon's card. 1-11 for the home run. That's a 5. Murray obviously has the power from both sides of the plate. So Eddie Murray goes deep. 5 runs in the inning for the Orioles. It is now 13-2. Still only 1 out. Here's Larry Sheets. 5-9, lefty on lefty is a walk. The Orioles looking to bat around again. It could happen very easily. In fact, it's probably a better chance of that happening than not happening. Here's Nelson Simmons. 4-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Maybe if Guillen gets a good roll, they can turn a double play. But he doesn't. That's a 2. 2-2. Just their kind of day it's been for the White Sox. 2-2. Probably a base hit. And it is. Single 1 star. So that's going to move Sheets to second. Starting to lose my voice a little bit for some reason. E21. We're checking the error on Guillen. 6-15 and 17. And there is no error, but it is a base hit. And now the ninth man to bat in the order, Terry Kennedy. Coming up, that is 14 hits now for the Orioles to go with their 13 runs. Here, we're still in the fifth inning. First and second, only one out. Get a 4-7, lefty on lefty. That's another walk. It's going to load the bases. So the bases are now full of Orioles. And I've got to redo the sheet again. I don't think I've ever had a game where a team has batted around twice in the same game, but we've got it here. So Kennedy draws that walk, and now speaking of walks, Jim Dwyer led off the inning with a walk. He's back up again, lefty on lefty matchup. He only faces lefties 5% of the time, but when you score like this, you might as well let him do it. For 2, and that's a split chance. 1-17 is a single. That's a base hit, 1 star. That'll score the run. Dwyer with an RBI single will score Sheets. Move everybody else up a base. And now it is 14-2 with another 6-run inning for the Orioles, but they still might not be done. Maybe this will break a record for the most runs scored in one of my games. I don't know. It might. I'm sure for 87 it probably is, but yeah, you got that right, Larry. Try to play a quick game and stuff happens. All right, here's Gonzalez. 1-9 for Gonzalez. Pops it up to second, so that's out number 2. And that'll flip it over to Gerhardt. Again, technically these are clutch situations, but it's hard to call them that when the score is like this. But technically by the rule they are. 1-9, that's a line out to third. It's going to end the inning. But another 6th spot for the Orioles. They take a 14-2 lead over the White Sox here in Baltimore. Joel McKeon, the sacrificial lamb, will just have to eat some innings. Try to save his bullpen for future games. So now Mike Boddicker back out. And he will be facing, in the top of the 6th, Gary Redus, Walker, and Hassey, the scheduled hitters. Boddicker's fatigue is not until the 7th, so he's good to go. 2-6 for Redus is a ground ball to Ripken, and there's one away. So at least the top half of the score sheet looks decent. The bottom half looks like a mess. Ground ball to short, one away. Here's Walker. 4-10, and that is a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Gerhardt. He's a 3. 3 and a 5 probably will drop, if I had to guess without looking. 3 and a 5. Yep, it's a single. Gerhardt's rating is an E10. He's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 16, and 18. Which 12 he barely does. So it's a base hit. No error, just a base hit. So a single there for Walker. That is only the 5th hit by the White Sox. Of course, nobody's getting the lead. Nobody's being held on or any of that stuff in the score like this. Here's Hassey. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Again, like I said, nobody's being held on, so Ripken will keep his 2E20. 2 and a, boy, that low die is coming up again. We can't get a decent fielding play because of the evil devil die 20 with another 2, and that's going to be a single 1 star. Ripken at E20 has to avoid 4, 15, 16, and 17, which he does, but it's going to be a base hit. Ripken couldn't get to it. Base hit for Hassey. And that'll send up Pudge Fisk. 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. The pass ball rating on Kennedy's a 2. And that's what we're going to be checking. No pass ball. All right, here comes Fisk. 1-7 for Fisk. Struck him out. That's only the third strikeout for, whoops, put in the wrong spot there, didn't I? How did I manage to do that? Probably because this game is so crazy. But it is the third strikeout for Boddicker, just his third. Very low strikeout totals. No Oriole batter has struck out yet. So there's only been 3 total strikeouts in the game. And here is Ivan Calderon with 2 outs. And technically a clutch situation. Calderon has doubled. He's 1 for 2 and a run scored. 2-6, and that's a 1-15 single. So that's a base hit. It's going to load the bases, though it's only 1 star. So the bases are loaded. So the White Sox have a chance to leave the bases loaded again. Donnie Hill steps up. One 9 for Hill against the right-hander, and he flies to center to end the inning. And they do can't speak. They do indeed leave the bases loaded. I think I do need more coffee and a quicker game. Maybe that's the combination I really need. All right, bottom of the 6th we go. Here's Alan Wiggins to start out the 6th inning as we move 2 slots over thanks to batting around twice. So Wiggins is your batter. 6'10" against the lefty, so he's a switcher batting right. 6'10", fly ball center field X. Fly ball center field X. Center fielder is Boston. He's a 3. 3 and a 5. You just knew it was going to be a low number, didn't you? I mean, that was just, you could take that to the bank. It was going to be a low number. 3 and a 5 is going to be a base hit once again. Boston's an E4, so he's got to avoid 4-16, and that's it, just 4 and 16. And he does that, but it's going to be a base hit for Wiggins as the double die keeps coming up with low numbers. And for the Orioles, that is base hit number 16. They're definitely looking to get about 20 hits and about 17 runs in this game the way it's going. Here's Cal. 5-8, and that's a ground ball second base X, but they weren't holding Wiggins on because of the score. So Hill will keep his 4, but that still may not happen. 4-1. The double die just keeps coming up with these low numbers. It's another base hit. I'm sure it's 2 stars. I'll double check it. Definitely a single 2 stars. So Wiggins will take third. Now we'll check for the error. And the error chance is an E11. And that is an 11, so I think he's okay. Yep, 15, 17, and 18 are the only errors. So base hit for Ripken. Runners now on the corners. Hit number 17 for the Orioles. Still nobody out. And here comes Eddie Murray. And now the White Sox bullpen starting to loosen again. But they're getting into guys they really don't want to use if they can avoid it. But Bobby Thigpen is loosening in their bullpen. Right-hander. Infield looking for the double play. 1-2 for Murray against the lefty is a ballpark blast. 1-11. That's a 10. Eddie Murray goes deep again. He has doubled twice. I'm sorry, singled, doubled, and now hit his second home run of the game. Home run number 6 for Eddie Murray. It is a 3-run shot. And this is about the biggest beating I've seen in quite some time, in any game for that matter. So Murray, home run number 6, RBI 17, 18, and 19. And it is now 17-2. Here's Larry Sheets, still nobody out. Larry Sheets, your batter. 4-4. And that's going to be a ballpark single check, 1-3. Thankfully, that one's an out, so fly to right, 1 away. This is a game I will probably use a position player to pitch to save the bullpen, and that's in the rule book at the back. I'll show that. So I guess maybe that's one bright light to the whole thing as you get to show that off. So here's Nelson Simmons. It is 17-2 here in the sixth. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to short. That's out number 2. Of course, when we want them to score 20 runs, that's when they'll get, all of a sudden they'll shut down. So here's Kennedy. 2 outs and the bases empty for Kennedy. And we're going to get a pinch hitter for Kennedy just because of the score being what it is. And for all you fans of the channel, there you go. My guy, Floyd Rayford, will come in and pinch hit and take over the catch. How about that? Who says I don't like Floyd Rayford? I'm giving him some love right here. So Rayford's going to pinch hit in the 6th and stay in the game to catch in the 7th. So Floyd Rayford, Sugar Bear, I think is what they called him. I called him a fat slob, but you can call him whatever you want. All right, so pinch hitting time. We'll go to the bullpen, or not to the bullpen, to the computer to bring in Rayford. And on the replay, Rayford is hitting .286. He's 2 out of 14, no homers or runs driven in. .57 against the right-hander, and that's a 1-17 home run chance. That's a 4. He's got normal power. And how do you like that pinch hitting move, folks? You don't see that kind of strategy on these other channels. Pinch hit home run for Floyd Rayford. If that doesn't tell you anything about how this game is going, I don't know what will. First home run of the season for Rayford. He had 2 in real world. He gets the first one here. Floyd Rayford goes deep. Look at it again, 5-7. That's an in-home run chance, 1-17. That's a 4, and Rayford has normal power. So Floyd Rayford goes deep, and we're going to go ahead and get a pinch hitter for Dwyer as well. Give a right-hander an at-bat in the DH slot. And that's going to be, who do they want to use here is the question. We'll give Rick Burleson at bat. He sucks, but in a big lead like this, why not use him? So Rick Burleson will pinch hit and stay in the game to play DH. Rick Burleson. So Sugar Bear homers is now 18-2, and that is hit number 19 for the Orioles. Burleson on the replay, hitting a .119. He had 209 in real world. He's got a .119 going right now. 5-8, and that's a ground ball second base X. Again, Donnie Hill's a 4. And again, the double die comes up as a 1. I mean, how do you explain these things? How do you explain how the D20 always comes up with a low number? It's a base hit. And that's an 11, so we know we checked it once before. That's not an error. It'll be a base hit. The Orioles could bat around for the 3rd time. And that's hit number 20 for the Orioles. Hit number 20 for the Orioles. And here's Rene Gonzalez. And McKeon's in there to take the brunt of this. 5-5, and that's a walk. That's going to not endear him to his manager. And they're getting ready to bat around for the 3rd time, I do believe. So here's Gerhardt, 9th man to bat in the inning without a double play. Well, there are 2 outs, so if we can get out of this, we can avoid the bat around if we can get Gerhardt. 3-8, and that's a single, but there's an anti-clutch, and there is a runner in scoring position. So even though the score is 18-2, it's still considered a clutch situation. So that turns into an out, thank goodness. And Gerhardt makes the out, but it's a Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning. It is now 18-2 as we go to the 7th inning, and that will be all for McKeon. So I need to put in the pitching lines for the 2 relief pitchers, and we'll have Thigpen come in and pitch the 7th and the 8th just to clean things up. And first of all, we got to bring Floyd Rayford in to catch. Oops, bring Floyd Rayford in to catch. There you go. Come on, get in there. There he is. So now let's get the totals, because that's all for McKeon as well. So I'll fill in both the Chicago relief pitchers. It's not pretty. Jimmy Wynn goes 3 innings. He's going to give up 3 hits and 5 runs, 4 walks and no strikeouts. McKeon will go an inning and 2/3. Going to give up 8 hits and 6 runs, 3 walks, and again, no strikeouts. So the White Sox pitching has issued 8 walks, has not struck out anybody, and they've given up 20 hits. About as big as a thrashing as probably imaginable. So Bobby Thigpen will come in and pitch the 7th and the 8th innings for the White Sox. But Boddicker's back out. This is his fatigue inning. Although he's been getting a lot of rest between innings, so he should be okay with all the offense that's going on. And due up for the White Sox, it'll be Hewlett, Guillen, and Boston. For 9, and that's going to be a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So Hewlett is gone. Here's Guillen. 210 for Guillen. And that's going to be a 1-7 home run chance. That's a 9, though. So when, thank you, Dan. That's generous of you. 9. So we don't get the home run. We get a triple out of Ozzie Guillen. So the D20 was just barely high enough to get past that and get him a triple. So Guillen with a triple, and that brings up Darryl Boston. And it's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball again on the pass ball now goes over to Rayford. Let's check his pass ball rating. Forgot we changed catchers. Rayford's pass ball rating is, don't tell me it's a 20. No, it's a 4. So no pass ball. Rayford does block it. He says, give me some credit. Give me some credit. 310 for Boston, and that's a 1-4 single. Anything else, he lines to second. So what do you know? He lines to second, and the runner does not advance. And that'll send up Gary Redus. I could pinch hit with some White Sox players, but I mean, what the heck? Gary Redus is coming out, and Steve Lyons, Tigers, and Bears, oh my, will pinch hit just to give somebody some more at-bats. So we'll give Steve Lyons an at-bat. He pinch hits in the 7th and will play left field in the 7th. So that is Steve Lyons. And he comes in a clutch situation, if you want to call it that. Lyons on the replay is hitting .364 and just 11 at-bats. No homers, 2 driven in. We're going to have Thigpen pitch the 7th, and then we have a position player pitch the 8th. That's a 2-9 for Lyons, and he grounds it to short to end the inning. So despite the 1-out triple, they can't score it. And that's going to end the inning. How do you like that? White Sox are snake bitten, so to speak. And we go to the 7th inning stretch here in Baltimore. Taking over in left field will be Steve Lyons. And the new pitcher will be Bobby Thigpen. It's either him or Bob James. They're 6-1, half dozen of the others. So, and they used Searage in inning yesterday, so they really don't want to use him back-to-back. So they will bring in Thigpen. Thigpen on the replay, 2-1 with 5 saves, an ERA of 0.75. 12 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 12 strikeouts. So Thigpen, not your typical White Sox reliever in this game, but hopefully he can bring some stability to the pitching staff. All right. Hello, alternate. Didn't see you sneak in there. Good to see you. Hello, Dab. All right, so Thigpen now will be facing Wiggins, Ripken, and Murray here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-11, switch hitter batting left, and that's a fly ball right field X. That is Calderon. He's a 3-E6. Now, will the double die come up low again? No, 3-10, he gets to it. E6. Might actually make the play. E6 and a 10, he does make the play. So how about that? We finally have a good defensive play as Calderon retires Wiggins. One down for Ripken. 4-6 against Thickpen is a 1-3 triple. 4-20 is a single. That's a 1. Cal Ripken just got a triple, his second of the game. Do you believe that? Wow. He's got 2 singles and now 2 triples. Look at it again on Ripken. 4-6 against Thickpen. 1-3 is a triple, and the double die comes up with the number 1 again. How many times can the double die come up that low? It's like it's loaded or haunted. I don't know. Here's Eddie Murray. He's gotten 2 home runs and 2 doubles in the game. I would pinch hit for him to give somebody another chance, but I want a chance at a 3rd home run or something like that. So the infield's not even going to bother playing in. What's the point? 4-7, and that's a single 2 stars. It really doesn't matter. So Murray now 5 for 5. He's a triple away from the cycle, but of course he won't get that. But it's an RBI single for Eddie Murray, and that makes the score 19-2. So even against Thickpen, the Orioles are hitting. That is base hit 22. Here's Larry Sheets. 5-5, and that is a ground ball second base C. The runner will advance to second. So Murray will take second on the ground out. And that'll send up Nelson Simmons. Thickpen to Simmons. 5-5, and that is a ground ball to second. Same result. Ground ball to second ends the inning, but a run comes in. And so for Thickpen, he's going to go 1 inning. He's going to give up 2 hits and a run, which was earned. No walks, no strikeouts. So the Orioles go the whole game without striking out. Yes, Steely Dan, that's a good line. You are correct. And right now the White Sox will wish they were reeling in the years because they're just getting pummeled. Boddicker back out. He does have some stamina still left for the 8th inning to face Greg Walker. Top of the 8th, 19-2. That's a 2-9, and that's 1-14 double, so it's a double for Walker. And now the Oriole bullpen will start to stir. Here's Ron Hasse. 2-3 for Hasse, and that's a single to center field. And that's going to put runners at the corners with nobody out. And now Boddicker on the verge of fatigue. Oriole bullpen. Good day to use their schlubs. So they will be loosening this guy I've never heard of, Mike Kanunen. He is in the bullpen for the Orioles to come in for Boddicker shortly. Right now, Fisk is your batter. That's a 5-5, and that's a 1-3 triple. Anything else is a double. That's a double for Fisk. And I believe that's going to do it for Boddicker. He's going to go 7+. And Hasse, slow as he is, he runs at an 8. They're definitely not going to challenge anybody with him, with his speed. And now Boddicker is officially tired. And with Ivan Calderon coming up, there will be a call to the bullpen. Oriole bullpen is now coming on. Mike Boddicker goes 7+. We'll do the numbers on him when the inning is over. And right-hander Mike Kinnunen will be coming on to pitch for the Orioles. Kinnunen comes in with the runners at second and third and nobody out. Kinnunen, we'll get the numbers on Kinnunen. And I'm going to have to move this over just a slight bit so we can still see the cards. I think we can now. Okay. All right, so Kinnunen is on to pitch for the Orioles. On the replay, he is 0-1 with no saves, an ERA of 11.12, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout. So Calderon infield obviously is back. They 1 outs. 4-8, and that's a leadoff walk. So leadoff walk. It's going to load the bases with nobody out for Donnie Hill. Boddicker is protesting with Cal Ripken Sr. because he knows that Kinnunen is going to give up those 2 inherited runs and hurt his ERA. It's like, why don't you bring in somebody better than that? And Ripken's like, hey, it's 19-2. What do you want? Or 19-3, rather. 3-6 for Donnie Hill. That's a 1-10 double. Anything else he flies to right. So that's going to be a sacrifice fly to right field. Scoring is Hassey, so it had to be really deep to score Hassey, but it does. And that run is also charged to Boddicker. So he's given up 2 runs this inning, 4 for the game to this point. So his ERA is going to take a little bit of a hit, possibly. He's still responsible for Fisk, who's on second base. Hewlett 5-7, and he's going to give up that run because that's a 1-16 double. It's a 19, but it's a single 2 stars, so that means Fisk is going to score. So we can close the book now on Boddicker. We do close the book on Boddicker now. So it is now 19-5. We'll get the final numbers on Boddicker, those inherited runners, and he is really not happy. I'm telling you, he is really not happy with Cal Ripken Sr. for allowing a Bush League reliever to give up extra runs. So his numbers are actually not very good. 7+, 11 hits, 5 runs, all earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. So now Kinnunen, the 2 runners on base are his responsibility now. So if any more runs come in, they'll be charged against him. Let's see what Ozzie Guillen does. 3 runs are in the inning. That's a 5-8 left-handed, and that's a walk. I'm sorry, 5-8 over here is ground ball second base X, but Wiggins is a 4. So that could be trouble again. And of course you get the low. I mean, was there any doubt it was going to be a low number on the D20? Was there any doubt about that whatsoever? That's a single 2 stars. That'll score the run. It'll move Hewlett to third on the single by Guillen. And now we'll check the error. E15. It's got to avoid 3, 14, 17, and 18. And he does. So that's going to do it for that at bat. Runners are at the corners. Now 4 runs are in. Orioles do not have a left-handed relief pitcher to go to. But they might have to go to somebody else because they may not be able to deal with Kinnunen too much longer. Darrell Boston, your batter. Runners at the corners, 1 out. 4 runs are in. It has been cut to a 19-6 lead. That's a 3-12, and as a foul out to Floyd Rayford for out number 2. Now the White Sox 1 hit away from batting around as well. And it's Steve Lyons. So Steve Lyons has a 5-9 left-handed, and that's another walk. It's going to load the bases, And now the White Sox will bat around. Third time someone has batted around in this game. Greg Walker is your batter. And I think Ripken may have seen enough of Noonan. He's not listed as tired, but boy, I think they're tired of seeing all those walks. So they will go to the bullpen for Tony Arnold. Remember, the bullpen is rested because Flanagan pitched a complete game his last time out. So Noonan not going to help his ERA by any means. And they'll go to the bullpen for right-hander Tony Arnold. They really don't want to use Williamson and Schmidt, the two best relievers. So they're going to see if Tony Arnold can finish out the game for him. Arnold 0-2 with a 5.56 earned run average in the replay. 11 innings pitched, 17 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Bases are full of White Sox. There's a sock in every drawer. And now Greg Walker is your batter. He led off the inning with a double. 1-4, and that's a ballpark blast, but that's a 17, so it saves their bacon, and that will end the inning. That could have been a grand salami. They were that close to a grand salami. 1-4, but the ballpark blast let them down. As it is, the White Sox put 4 on the board, and now we can close the book on Noonan. As bad as that book was, we will close the book on him. So a deep fly to right ends it. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the score 19-6. Get the numbers on Noonan, which were not pretty either. Noonan on that little bit of pitching he did goes 2/3 of an inning. Gives up 2 hits and a run, but he allowed 2 inherited runners to score as well. Actually, all 3 inherited runners to score. 2 walks and no strikeouts. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Leading off will be Floyd Rayford. He had a pinch hit home run his first time up, but we're going to have a position player come in and pitch for the White Sox. Let's see who the position player is going to be to pitch. Who's on the bench? They're going to bring in Fred Manrique to pitch. Fred Manrique. So Manrique will pitch, and the way you do that in the rule book, when the pitcher's card comes up, we're going to be using this pitcher card right here. That's what we're going to use on 4, 5, and 6 rolls, is this pitcher card. And probably the way the game has been going for the White Sox, the generic pitcher card is probably better than what they've had in this game. So we'll go with Floyd Rayford to lead it off. So it's going to be Manrique. We'll get the pitching assignment. And in case you're curious, the wild pitch rating on Manrique is a 20. If we get to that. So here's Rayford. 5'11", and we're straight off the position card. 5'11". It's a fly ball right field X. So we're looking at Calderon. Calderon is a 3. 3-10, he'll actually get to that. E6. E6 and a 10, he'll make the play. How do you like that? So Calderon retires Rayford, 1 away, and here's Rick Burleson. Rick Burleson, unless they want to have somebody else pinch hit, but I don't think they do. I think they're just going to let sleeping dogs lie. Oop, that white die did not go through. Let's redo that again. There we go. 6-7, back to the pitcher hitting card. 6-7. It's a 1-17 single. That's a 9. It's a base hit for Rick Burleson. So Burleson singles, brings up Rene Gonzalez. And that is hit number 23 for the Orioles to go with their 19 runs. That's a 5-9. And again, we're back to the pitcher position player card. 5-9 against a right-hander. Ground ball, second base, C. So they advance the runner, but they get the second out. So Manrique about ready to pitch a scoreless inning here. Here's Gerhardt. Actually, you know what? They're gonna pinch hit for the heck of it. They're gonna bring in Fred Lynn, and he's gonna pinch hit and take over in center field in the 9th. They're gonna wake Fred Lynn up off the bench. He was taking a nap, so they figured why not get him up and get him to do something. So he is going to pinch hit in this situation. And we'll get the numbers on him. Fred Lynn on the replay. Is hitting 193, 7 homers, 16 driven in. Technically a clutch situation again. 5-7 again. We're off the pitcher position player card. 5-7 is a single, 2 stars. So it's a RBI single for Fred Lynn. And that is now the 20th run of the game. Run number 20 for the Orioles. 20 runs and 24 hits. And that'll bring up Wiggins. .69, switch hitter batting left. 6'9's a double to center field. Well, they're not gonna overtask Lynn. He's gonna just trot to third. And now Fred Manrique is technically tired, but they're not bringing in another player to pitch, so they're gonna have to deal with it. Here's Cal Ripken. He has tripled twice and singled, so he's had himself quite a game. You're not going to walk him because you got Murray on deck. I know first base is open, but do you really want to pitch to Eddie Murray? 4-5, and we're back to the position player card. Strikeout, but there's a dot there. So since he's tired, and the computer confirmed to me he was tired, that's going to be a single, 2 stars. So single, 2 stars off the fatigue. That's going to score both runs. And the White Sox just can't catch a break. It is now 22-6. And here's Eddie Murray. Chance for his 3rd home run of the game, but Manrique is out there for the duration. 3-5, and he's going to walk. And didn't I say I wanted to get a quick game in? Such is life in the Strat-O-Matic dice world. But this is definitely a record for most runs in a game that I've ever had. 4-4, and again, we're off the position card. 4-4 for a lefty. Is a ground ball second base X. That's Donnie Hill. That's no guarantee. He's a 4. That's 20, so he finally gets to it. E11. 11-6, I believe, is okay. Yes, it is. The inning will finally end, but 3 runs come in. And we can close the book on Manrique. He goes 1 inning, gives up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 3 runs, walks 1, and of course no strikeouts. So the Orioles go the whole game with no strikeouts. They walk 9 times and don't strike out. They pound out 26 hits and get 9 walks. So you're talking about 35 base runners. 35 base runners in this game for the Orioles. Unbelievable. All right, so Arnold will come out to mop things up here in the top of the 9th. He'll be facing Hassey, Fisk, and Calderon. 22-6. You don't see that very often. For those of you who are still watching, thank you very much for sticking with me on this. So Fred Lynn stays in the game to play center field. Hassey, 310, and that's a hit by pitch plus injury. You're talking about adding insult to injury. This is adding injury to insult right here. Hit by pitch plus an injury. But of course, the injury is only for this game. But up 22-6, you wouldn't think they'd be throwing at anybody. So Hassey on a 1-4 will stay in the game. He will not. So Hassey will come out and they'll need a pinch runner. So we'll get a pinch runner for Hassey. And that pinch runner will be, it's either going to be Hairston, Karkovice, or Royster. Royster's the fastest, but he was kind of hoping to get the day off. So they will go with Hairston instead. It doesn't really matter. Jerry Hairston will pinch run. So here's Fisk. Oh, the D20 didn't go through. Stuck to my hand for some reason. Don't know why. 1-8, and that's a 1-13 single, but that's a 17, so he lines it to short. One away. Fisk is retired, and that brings up Calderon. .37 struck him out. So Arnold 1 out away from finishing this thing off. And it's Ozzie. It can't be Ozzie getting this quick. No, it's Donnie Hill. I don't know how Ozzie got up there. It's Donnie Hill. You don't bat out of turn, Ozzie. It's Donnie Hill. Has Donnie Hill done anything? Not much. Did have a sacrifice fly, but I don't feel like making a pinch hitting move right now. I want to get the game over with. All right, here's Hill. 4-4, and it's a fly ball center field X, so they got to wake up Fred Lynn in center field. He's a 3-E-3, and he will get to it. How about that? Can he make the catch without the error? E3 and a 12 is probably going to be enough. Double check it. E3 and a 12 in center field. Yep, 16, 18, and 3 are the only errors, so Lynn will make the catch, and the ball game is mercifully over. Mercifully over. Orioles pummel the White Sox by the final score of 22-6. 22 runs, 26 hits, and no errors for the Orioles. 6 runs, 13 hits, and no errors for the White Sox. If you didn't know the Oriole line at all, you think 6-13-0. The White Sox must have won. Well, not so fast, my friend. So Tony Arnold goes an inning and a third in a cleanup mode, gives up 4 hits. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. He gives up no hits. My bad. I was looking at the other line there. No hits, no runs. He does get a strikeout. So there you go. The Orioles now improve to 10-14. White Sox drop to 11-10. Winning pitcher Mike Boddicker improves to 3-1, but his ERA does jump up to 5.70. And Davis with the loss, his ERA escalates to 13.20. Wynn's ERA goes up to 10.29, and McKeon's ERA jumps to 12.91. Kanunen's ERA jumps to 11.37. So not a lot of good pitching going on right there whatsoever. But there you go. It's a mess. The score sheets is a mess. Good thing the Strat computer can clean everything up. Ripken 5 for 7. Murray 5 for 5 with 9 runs batted. That's got to be a record for me. 9 runs batted in for Eddie Murray. Unbelievable. He had an RBI single here, an RBI double here, a 3-run homer here, or 2-run homer here, a 3-run homer here, an RBI single here. So Murray with 9 runs batted in. His line 5, he's 5 at bats, 4 runs, 5 hits, and 9 runs batted in. He raises his average to 344. So he is definitely the player of the game. White Sox left on 10, Orioles left on 13. Anybody else of significance? Like I said, Murray and Ripken combined go 10 for 12 with 13 runs batted in and 8 runs scored. So there's your duo right here. These two guys right here go 10 for 12 with 8 runs scored and 13 runs batted in. So you could almost make a co-MVP here, but I think with 9 RBIs, you have to give it to Murray, plus his 2 home runs. So Eddie Murray gets the win, or not the win, but the MVP. And so the next game on the schedule hopefully will be a little bit better than this one. It is going to be from Toronto. It'll be the Texas Rangers. and the Toronto Blue Jays, Ed Correa against Jim Clancy. And that will be game number 163 when we get around to it. But this one, a wild one from Memorial Stadium. Orioles take 2 in a row now as Flanagan shut out the White Sox in the previous game. This game here, they pound out 22 runs against the poor White Sox pitching staff. And I'm going to look at the next game for the White Sox and see who their pitcher's supposed to be, because you never know who that is going to be. Actually, there's only one game on May the 4th, and the White Sox are in it against the Yankees. So Rich Dotson will be facing the Yankees on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. But it's the only game on the schedule, so the White Sox don't even get a day off to rest. They got to play again next time. So that's going to do it from here. I got things I got to get done. I appreciate you spending your time with me and going through all of this. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.